With one of my favorite actors as its brand ambassador, Intex has been doing a good business selling smartphones across the country, and the device I have been using over a week is the CloudSwift 4G. Let's start with the review right away. The unit I have has this unique color which is very lighter note of the grey color. The edges are rounded as most of the devices we see these days, but the rear panel has been offered a nice looking texture. The combination doesn't help the device from slipping and it's hard to tell if it's good to feel or not, so I am going to use the word OK here. I keep phone in my left pocket, and as the volume rocker and power buttons are placed on the left side, I can start with the device instantly after pulling it out. Even if you are using the right side, this thing might not worry you much, but it will definitely feel awkward during initial days since most of the smartphones have these buttons on the right. The device isn't that big, but Intex could have saved some space at the bottom by omitting that little home button. It responds with a touch, and a single press is set to take you at home, while the long press launches the multitasking running apps catalog. The main navigation buttons are on screen, and the multitasking one among them is meant to launch the widget selection or wallpaper changing window. You can also launch the settings from the same screen. The moment I looked at the display, those white black bezels covering the screen were easily visible, and they are actually covering the real estate. These bezels are other than the already existing top and bottom. So if Intex could have got rid of them, then they could have shipped even bigger display in the phone or made this one slightly more compact and thus comfortable. Now the story after I click the power button, colors reproduction begins at the screen, everything looks good. But those black bezels looks kind of cramping everything. They are always present even when you are watching movies or playing games. Rest, the display is bright enough to make the devices useful under direct sunlight. Not totally useful, but you at least don't need to cover the screen with the other hand. Colors look good, being using the IPS panel at base. The viewing angles are also decent. So if you can live with those useless bezels around, you won't find anything else to complain. The camera app is the same as most of the devices in this price group, manufactured from Indian names, and the overall combination did manage to impress me. The only thing I didn't like is that Intex didn't offer camera shortcut at the home screen. It's a silly mistake as camera is one of the most used apps, although the app can be launched from the lock screen as well. The rear camera takes its time to focus, and you can even tap on the viewfinder to focus on a particular area or object. Once done, the shutter is all set to save the scene within a second. The app can let you easily play with HDR, flash, etc. options, and it even let you take a picture using both cameras together, named PIP mode. An option to take live photos is also present, which records few seconds before and after you press the shutter. A mode named multi-angle view can let you take picture of any object, say your pet, from 3 angles. It's kind of a shrink panorama. A separate and complete panorama mode is also on board. The rear camera can also track motion and take a picture accordingly. The aim here is to minimize the blur from the picture. HDR is also available for the front camera, and that's it. So the camera part concludes just above the average score, which is good because this isn't the case with every phone in this price category. Now, talking of the software, Android 5.1 OS is running the show, which isn't completely customized. Intex did change a lot of icons, almost every app at the home screen, but inside they carry the same stock Android UI. I didn't like any of those icons at all. Hangouts was installed, but the older Android messaging app was in charge and Chrome was completely missing, offering Opera Mini instead. The lock screen is from the Lollipop itself, but the search widget at the home screen isn't of the Google app. The voice command search works using the Google app, but if you enter a search term, then it will ask you to choose a browser to open the results. By default, that old Android browser opens the web pages, which looks sluggish and bad for most of the times. So I'll recommend to change the widget and bring back the Google app. Google app bundle isn't at the main home screen, and a good number of bloatware was also on board, including Amazon, Freecharge, GoIbibo, Savan, etc. Game Store, iStore and Magic Store apps are shipped, which all offers their own set of applications through individual store. An information app was loaded which shows details of the phone. This is useless because most of the users aren't interested in these details, and even if they do, those are available in the about section of the settings. And it gets worse, I can't even uninstall it. Separate apps like sound recorder, software update and portable hotspot are also on board. A stripped version of Asphalt 8 game with Intex branding inside was pre-installed, which works at a very high speed, offering pleasing car racing experience. A demo version of Spider-Man game is also available. Apps like auto call record and backup and restore are present, but those Bluetooth manager and Wi-Fi hotspot apps are again extra. The same things can be done from the settings itself. Google's Quick Office app was offered along with OneDrive app. So this is how everything looks while you are using the Intex Made Launcher 3. Thankfully, Google Now Launcher is also packed, which can be easily enabled, and then you can enjoy a little less cluttered Android version. It even brings some familiar icons and the Google search widget at the home screen. The app launcher gets a white background with apps flowing vertically. Most importantly, Google Now is available at the right swipe, Hindi and some other regional language and international languages are supported, and the device can be used in any of them. Even that, Google keyboard input changes to that default selected language. Now 3 GB of RAM and a quad-core MediaTek processor really helps the device to stay a beast on every corner. No matter which game you throw or how many apps you run together, you are never going to find any lagging at all. I did notice some issues with the Wi-Fi, but after I installed the available software update, it was fixed. As you can see in the video itself, Opera Mini isn't working at its best as our website wasn't opening completely. So it's highly recommended to use Chrome or Firefox app instead. Coming to the game inside, this device is so made for playing the games all the time. The HD screen, plenty of RAM and internal storage to keep 2-3 high-end games installed together is the perfect combination, and Intex has given us the same. Thanks to the bright display, game playing is pretty impressive and the phone doesn't lag even in the high-end graphics settings. There were very minor frame drops and thus average users won't find any issues. About the heating thing, it never became uncomfortable and stayed warm like any other phone during heavy usage. During my rough testing, which includes continuous heavy game playing, an HD standard movie watching from the pending list, taking pictures and the usual heavy web browsing, the device never died from 100% tops before 4.5 hours. Sometimes it even crossed the 5-hour mark. This looks good, not that impressive but good. The scorecard helps the device to hang in the sweet spot between the totally bad and totally impressive battery life. Standby is fair, not that good. Surely it can last for a single day on average usage. But for the heavy users in you, staying close to the power source is recommended. The device is definitely a good choice for the price Intex is asking, as you are getting a phone which can play high-end games, take good pictures and let you keep a lot of movies and games. Didn't I tell you that the storage can be expanded up to 128 gigs? If I forget those silly apps Intex packed and the black bezels around the display, CloudSwift 4G is surely one of the best devices in its category.